Picture this. You are sitting at a table in a dimly lit, super bustling restaurant right in the heart of Tokyo.
Oh man, setting the scene. I love it.
Yeah, and right in the center of your table is a personal charcoal grill, just glowing red. You hear the sharp, crackling sizzle as you lay down a slice of raw, perfectly marbled Wagyu beef.
There is really nothing quite like that sound.
Right. The intense heat hits your face, the smell of caramelizing fat instantly fills the air, and, your mouth is just watering.
You're ready to dive in.
Exactly. But then you look around, and something feels incredibly off. I mean, you paid for an all-you-can-eat course, but there was absolutely no buffet line in sight.
Not at all.
There were no sneeze guards, no heat lamps, no mountains of dried-out macaroni and cheese sitting next to sad pizza slices.
Just a completely empty dining floor, basically.
Yes. And instead, the server hands you an iPad, points to a strict 90-minute countdown timer glowing right on the top of the screen, and casually directs your attention to a bold warning label.
The infamous warning label.
Yeah, the one that says you will be financially penalized for any food you leave on your plate.
It completely shatters the fundamental premise of what an unlimited meal is supposed to look like.
It really does.
Right.
As a foreign traveler, your internal monologue just derails entirely. Sitting there thinking, wait a minute, I'm paying a flat fee, but I have to cook the food myself.
Yeah, doing the labor.
Right. And why am I suddenly on a ticking clock like I'm defusing a bomb? And what kind of all-you-can-eat place actually fines me for not eating everything I ordered?
It sounds incredibly stressful when you frame it like that.
It does. Which forces the obvious question. Why does Japan's all-you-can-eat system operate so completely differently from the rest of the world?
It's a brilliant question, primarily because what looks like a hostile collection of, restrictive, stressful rules to an outsider is, in reality, a highly engineered ecosystem.
So there's a real method to the madness.
Absolutely. Over the course of our deep dive today, we're going to dissect how this system, which is known as Tabehoudai, actually operates.
Tabehoudai. I like the sound of that.
Yeah, it translates to all you can eat. And it's this wild intersection where ancient spiritual philosophies regarding waste collide directly with hyper-modern economics.
Oh, wow. So it goes way beyond just restaurant management.
Way beyond. It touches on aggressive labor solutions and a truly unique interpretation of hospitality.
Well, I want to start with the logistics because the missing buffet line is like the most jarring visual difference when you first walk in.
It's the first thing you notice.
For sure. In the West, the defining feature of an all-you-can-eat restaurant is the physical trough. You grab a warm, heavy plate, you walk down a massive line of chafing dishes, and you just pile it high.
Right, the classic smorgasbord setup.
But Japan relies heavily on order style, or chumonshiki. You tap a tablet, and small, freshly prepared plates are brought directly to your table.
To understand the mechanics of why they do this, you really have to look at the logistical paradigm shift between a push system and a pull system.
A push system versus a pull system. Okay, unpack that for us.
So, a traditional buffet operates on a push system. The kitchen cooks massive batches of food, pushes it out onto the dining floor, and essentially just hopes it gets eaten before it spoils.
Or before it just totally dries out under those heat lamps.
Exactly. And inherently, that means you are sacrificing quality for volume.
We all know the drill there. You know you aren't getting the best sushi at those places. You're just getting the most sushi.
Right. The rice is cold and hard. The fish is room temperature. It's not great.
It's definitely not.
Because items like sushi or, say, fried karaage, they degrade incredibly rapidly under ambient room temperatures or heat lamps.
Yeah, nobody wants soggy fried chicken.
Nobody. But the Japanese order-style system uses a pull mechanism. The food literally does not exist on the dining floor until the customer specifically requests it.
So you, the diner, are pulling it from the kitchen.
Exactly. By making the diner pull the food via that tablet, the restaurant almost entirely eliminates prepared waste.
Because they aren't guessing what people might want to eat an hour from now.
Right. There are no massive trays of dried out chicken teriyaki getting scraped into the trash at the end of the night.
I see the financial benefit there, for sure. But let me challenge that for a second.
Go for it.
Doesn't having staff run back and forth with, like, 2 little pieces of sushi or a single plate of raw beef totally bottleneck the system?
It seems like it would, right?
Yeah. If I'm at a restaurant with 50 tables and every table is ordering 3 tiny plates every 4 minutes, that sounds like a massive logistical nightmare for the kitchen.
You'd think the kitchen would just completely crash. But you're picturing a traditional line cook setup.
Like guys shouting orders over a grill.
Yeah. But the kitchens in these Tabehoudai establishments operate more like highly optimized assembly lines, driven entirely by the point-of-sale network.
So it's heavily automated on the back end.
Extremely. When you tap that iPad, the order doesn't go to a waiter who punches it into a terminal.
No.
It goes instantly to specialized kitchen display systems.
So it routes directly to the right station.
Exactly. The drinks go straight to the bar. The raw beef goes to a meat station where the cuts are already portioned and resting in modular, temperature-controlled trays.
Oh, wow. So there's no chopping happening to order?
No, the expediter just grabs the pre-portioned tray, adds a garnish, and sends it out. It's often on your table in under 60 seconds.
That is incredibly fast. It's like the difference between an on-demand streaming service and traditional cable TV.
Oh, I like that analogy.
Yeah, like with the Western buffet. It's cable TV, everything is broadcasting all at once on those heat lamps, whether anyone is consuming it or not.
Just playing to an empty room.
Right. But with the Japanese tablet system, it's streaming.
Yeah.
You only load exactly what you want to consume right in that exact microsecond.
That's the perfect way to look at it. And because they have eliminated the massive overhead of wasted ingredients that plagues the cable TV model, they can reallocate those funds.
Reallocate them into better food, I assume.
Exactly, into the raw product. That is how a restaurant can offer an all-you-can-eat menu featuring premium ingredients like A5 Wagyu or Omi beef.
Oh man, Omi beef is incredible.
It is. It has an incredibly low melting point and spectacular marbling, and they offer it at a price point that average people can actually afford.
I was actually reading a first-hand account from a South African teacher who has been living in Japan, and she was raving about this exact phenomenon.
What did she say?
She stated flatly that Japanese buffets are 100% the best, specifically because the ingredients are always pristine.
She noticed the difference right away.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She walked into an all-you-can-eat sushi place expecting the typical Western sacrifice.
Yeah.
Heavy rice, paper-thin fish, and instead found restaurant-tier freshness.
Because it was made the second she ordered it?
Exactly. The fish was vibrant, the nori was still crisp because it hadn't been sitting out for an hour.
But here's the catch offering. That level of premium product at a fixed, reasonable price creates a massive vulnerability for the restaurant.
Because premium proteins cost real money.
Right, so how does the business survive without just bleeding cash every night?
That brings us to the most unyielding aspect of this whole ecosystem chronometric governance.
The ticking clock.
The ticking clock. This is the part that genuinely gives foreign tourists a spike in blood pressure.
It really freaks people out.
It totally does. When you sit down, you aren't just buying access to food. You are basically renting the physical table for a highly specific, non-negotiable amount of time.
And that time limit is strictly enforced.
Very strictly. The standard duration across the country is usually 90 to 120 minutes. And there's a strict last order protocol.
Yeah, that usually hits about 20 or 30 minutes before your time runs out.
Right. So why are they so obsessed with the clock?
The math behind the clock is pretty ruthless. You have to factor in the real estate geography first and foremost.
Oh, right. Tokyo is incredibly dense.
Space in cities like Tokyo or Osaka is at an astronomical premium. A restaurant pays an absolute fortune for every single square meter.
So they have to maximize the revenue per square meter.
Exactly. If they are charging a flat fee of, say, $35 for unlimited premium Wagyu, the profit margins on that meat are razor thin.
So if a group of diners camps out at a table for 3.5 hours, drinking water and chatting,
the restaurant loses money on that table.
Yeah.
Period. Profitability is entirely dependent on predictable, high-volume table turnover.
so the timer isn't just a suggestion to be polite. It's the mathematical linchpin holding the entire business model together.
Yes, it guarantees the restaurant can cycle 3 or 4 distinct waves of diners through that exact seat every single night.
Wow. It's almost like a factory shift schedule.
It is, and it leads to this fascinating cultural commodification of time itself.
What do you mean by commodification of time?
Well, you aren't just paying for the calories anymore, you are paying for the minutes. Look at the dessert buffet chain called Sweets Paradise.
Sweets Paradise, okay, I've seen those around.
They are a great case study for this. Their entry-level tier is a basic 50-minute course for around 1,100 yen.
50 minutes for a buffet? That feels like a sprint.
It is fast. But say 50 minutes feels a bit too frantic for you, or maybe you want access to their premium seasonal items.
Like what kind of items?
Like Shine Muscat grapes or specialized local melons, you can upgrade to a 100-minute course for over 2,000 yen.
Oh, wow. So thyme is literally treated as a premium ingredient that you add to your digital cart.
Exactly. You buy the thyme just like you buy the grapes.
But put yourself in the shoes of someone experiencing this for the first time. Doesn't a countdown timer completely ruin the atmosphere of a relaxing dinner?
I can see why people feel that way.
I mean, imagine trying to catch up with old friends, but there is a digital clock glaring at you from the corner of the iPad, ticking down the seconds.
It feels a bit intense.
Yeah, it feels less like hospitality and more like a culinary escape room.
A culinary escape room, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
But I completely understand why it feels abrasive to a newcomer.
But locals are just used to it.
The reality on the ground is that for locals, it doesn't induce anxiety at all. It's simply understood as a social contract.
A social contract.
But-
Okay.
And arguably, it actually improves the dynamic of a group dinner because it provides a highly structured rhythm.
How so?
Well, think about a typical dinner party in the West. There's often that awkward, dragging hour at the end where everyone is secretly tired.
Oh yeah, but no one wants to be the rude person who asks for the check and breaks up the party.
Right, it's that long, lingering goodbye where you're just staring at the dregs of your water glass, making small talk.
I have been trapped in that exact situation so many times.
We all have. But the 90-minute limit dictates the pacing for everyone. It organically builds toward a dramatic climax.
Because everyone knows the end is coming.
Yes. When that last order notification pops up on the iPad at the 60-minute mark, it acts as a starting pistol for the final round.
So it actually creates like a burst of energy.
Exactly. The energy in the room shifts. Everyone
Right.
rallies. They quickly debate their final dishes. They order their last, strongest drink.
And the meal ends on a high, energetic note rather than a slow fade.
Precisely. You leave while you're still having fun.
Okay, I can see how the timer manages the table turnover and even the social pacing. But we need to talk about how they manage the actual consumption of the food,
Ah, yes. The leftover fine.
because this is where things get real. If you load up your table with plates of raw meat or sushi, and you just leave it sitting there when that timer hits 0,
You're gonna pay for it.
literally, the restaurant will charge you the a la carte price for every single uneaten item left on your table.
Which is a huge shock to tourists. But if we zoom out and connect this to the broader cultural framework, this is where modern restaurant economics crash directly into ancient philosophy.
Okay, I love this angle. To a Westerner, a leftover fine feels incredibly punitive.
Yeah, it feels like you're being scolded by a strict teacher.
Exactly. But in Japan, this rule is deeply anchored in a concept, right?
Yes, the concept of Mottainai.
Mottainai, which translates roughly to, a sense of regret over waste.
That's a good way to phrase it. And it's not just about the restaurant protecting its bottom line.
So it's far deeper than just a profit and loss statement.
Much deeper. Mottainai is intertwined with Shinto Buddhist animism.
Animism meaning the belief that objects have a spiritual essence.
Right. In this belief system, there is a spiritual essence, a kami in everything,
Even in the food.
especially in the food. For generations, Japanese children have been taught that every single grain of rice holds a spirit.
Wait, literally every grain.
Yes. So leaving a grain of rice in your bowl isn't just wasteful in a practical sense, it's a sign of profound disrespect.
Wow, that carries a lot of weight.
It disrespects the natural elements that grew it, and it disrespects the intense physical labor of the farmers who harvested it.
So wasting food in this context isn't just a financial miscalculation. It's viewed as a moral failing.
Exactly, a moral failing.
That completely flips the psychological approach to the meal. I mean, the Western buffet mindset is essentially rooted in hoarding.
Oh, totally. The scarcity mindset kicks in, ironically.
Yeah, you walk into a massive buffet in the US and the mentality is instantly bigger is better.
You grab the biggest plate you can find.
You take this massive ceramic plate and you build a structurally unsound mountain of food because you don't want to lose your table or have to walk back to the line.
And if you only eat half of that mountain, no one cares.
Right, it just gets scraped into a bin by a busboy. But the Japanese approach requires a completely different strategy.
Incremental ordering.
Incremental ordering. Walk us through how that feels in practice.
You order 2 small plates, you grill them, you eat them, then you pause, you assess your hunger, and you order 2 more.
It feels like a respectful pact between the diner and the kitchen.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
You are silently agreeing, I will only summon what I can actually honor.
Yes. And these restaurants do not mess around with the boundaries of that pact.
Oh, they enforce it strictly. If you look at the rule book for a place like Yukaku, the massive Japanese BBQ chain, They lay it out in black and white.
They're very clear about the rules.
There are absolutely no takeout boxes. You cannot grill a bunch of meat, realize you're too full, and ask for a doggy bag to take home.
Now, part of that is due to incredibly strict Japanese hygiene laws regarding buffets.
Oh, really? It's a legal thing, too.
Yeah, food safety laws are intense. But it's also deeply about preserving the integrity of the experience.
Exactly. And they don't allow substitutions either.
No, you get what the menu says.
You are agreeing to experience the food exactly as the chef intended. And most importantly, you are agreeing to calculate your own satiety before you tap that screen.
Sociologists who study food cultures actually have a metric for this.
A metric for eating everything on your plate.
Yeah, it's called plate clearing behavior, or PCB.
PCB. That's fascinating.
And Japanese diners are culturally conditioned from childhood to exhibit remarkably high levels of PCB, which is paired with pre-meal portion planning.
So they are constantly running a background calculation on their own stomach capacity.
Exactly. The leftover fine isn't designed as a trap to squeeze more money out of confused tourists.
It's just enforcing the baseline.
Right. It exists to enforce a cultural baseline of respect that the locals are already natively practicing every single day.
Okay, but let's talk about the biological aftermath of that consumption.
The food coma.
Yes. How do Japanese diners eat all you can eat for 90 minutes straight and not end up completely incapacitated?
It is quite a feat.
When I leave an American buffet, I need to be wheeled out to my car, and I usually need to sleep for 3 straight hours.
You're just totally done for the day.
I am in a massive food coma. But in Japan, people finish these intense Tabehoudai meals and then just go right back to the office.
Or they go out walking through the neon streets of Shinjuku for hours.
How do they physically consume that much without the bloated sluggishness?
The answer lies in the aesthetic economy of the meal.
The aesthetic economy.
Specifically, the traditional role of maritsuke, which is the Japanese art of plating and visual presentation.
Okay, so the way the food looks actually changes how you feel.
Yes. Think back to your Western buffet experience. You are given a massive 12-inch circular plate.
A giant blank canvas.
And you pile it with disparate, overlapping foods. You've got a slice of pepperoni pizza touching a piece of California roll, which is bleeding into a pile of mashed potatoes.
Oh yeah, the flavors all meld into one giant beige, salty blur.
Exactly. It's chaotic. And visually, it actually encourages mindless, rapid volume eating because your brain stops registering the individual components.
You're just shoveling it in.
Right. But Japanese food, even in a fast-paced all-you-can-eat setting, is presented as a constellation of small, highly distinct vessels.
So lots of little dishes.
Yes. Your rice is in one specific bowl, your miso soup is in another, your raw meat arrives on a small rectangular slate, your pickled vegetables are in a tiny ceramic dish.
So you're surrounded by all this beautiful little pottery.
Right, and that separation serves 2 vital functions.
What's the first one?
First, it honors the ingredients by keeping the flavors completely distinct. Your pickles aren't making your fried chicken soggy.
Makes sense. What's the second?
More importantly, it executes a psychological trick on your brain. Yeah. The physical act of interacting with 5 or so different small dishes, picking up different bowls, using your chopsticks to navigate between them, satisfies the brain's neurological desire for abundance much faster than staring at one massive, piled high plate.
Wait, really? Just the action of moving between bowls makes you feel fuller?
Yes. You achieve a profound sense of psychological satiety from the visual variety and the mechanical interaction long before your stomach physically stretches to its absolute limit.
That makes incredible sense. You're feeding your eyes and your brain's need for complexity, not just stretching your stomach lining.
Exactly. You feel satisfied without being stuffed.
But I also noticed something in the research about their hydration strategy, which seems totally counterintuitive to how we eat in the West.
Oh, the drink situation. Yes.
If you go to a buffet in the US, you are almost guaranteed to be drinking a massive 32-ounce soda filled to the brim with crushed ice.
Refilled 3 times.
Exactly. But in Japan, diners drink shockingly little liquid during the actual meal.
It's a very subtle but crucial physiological difference.
Why do they do that?
There is a deeply held traditional belief in Japanese dining that consuming large volumes of ice-cold liquid during a heavy meal, violently dilutes your digestive enzymes.
Dilutes the enzymes.
And the cold temperature is believed to constrict the stomach and interfere with the breakdown of fats, especially the rich fats you're getting in something like Wagyu beef.
So instead of gulping down a liter of ice water, what do?
They might sip a small, delicate cup of hot green tea, or maybe have a very tiny glass of room temperature water.
Just a few sips here and there.
Right. By sipping only small amounts of warm liquid, the digestive system is allowed to operate at peak efficiency.
So the body doesn't have to work as hard.
Exactly. The hot tea actively helps break down the oils. It actively prevents that heavy, lethargic, bloated feeling that is so universally associated with Western buffets.
They are literally engineering the physical aftermath of the meal.
It's all calculated.
And speaking of engineering, we have to touch on a hyper-specialization of these venues.
Oh, this is a huge point.
You don't walk into a Tabehoudai expecting, a roast beef carving station situated next to a taco bar sitting right across from a chocolate fondue fountain.
The culinary chaos model. No, you don't see that.
You go to a specialist, you go to a Mottainai restaurant, which does absolutely nothing but awful hot pot.
Or you go to a place that only serves different preparations of Hokkaido crab.
Right. And that intense specialization is the core secret to maintaining premium quality at massive volumes.
Because in Japanese culture, there is a deep reverence for the shokunin, the master craftsman.
This shokunin.
Yes. By aggressively restricting the menu to a single culinary genre, whether it is strictly tempura or just yakiniku or solely sushi, the restaurant empowers the kitchen staff to maintain their craftsmanship.
Because they aren't spread thin trying to master 50 different global flavor profiles.
Exactly. They perfect one specific process, and they build a system to execute it endlessly without a single drop in quality.
Okay, so we've established how the kitchen operates with military precision. But we really need to look at the front of the house.
The service model.
Yes, the service model. Because this is another area where foreign tourists, especially Americans, find themselves deeply confused.
It can feel very cold if you don't understand it.
You walk into one of these restaurants, and there is no chatty waiter rushing up to introduce themselves.
Hi, my name's Brad. I'll be taking care of you today.
Exactly. That does not happen. There is often just a self-service water pitcher sitting quietly in the corner of the room.
And instead of a waiter checking on your table every 5 minutes, there is just the iPad or a little mechanical bell on the table that says sumimasen, meaning, excuse me.
This brings us face to face with the concept of omotenashi.
Omotenashi, yes.
It is frequently translated simply as hospitality, but it's true, nuanced meaning is closer to hospitality without expectation.
Right. The philosophy actually originates from the traditional Japanese tea ceremony.
How does that connect to a bustling modern restaurant?
Well, the goal in the tea ceremony is to anticipate a guest's needs flawlessly, without making the guest feel indebted.
Oh, I see.
But how that ancient concept translates into a modern, high-volume iPad restaurant can feel totally alien to a Westerner.
It really does. Because in the West, we equate good service with human interaction.
Smiling faces, lots of eye contact.
Right. The waiter comes over, asks how your day is going, refills your water unprompted, and inevitably interrupts you mid-bite to ask, how is everything tasting?
Always right when you take a bite.
Always. So I've always wondered, does replacing that human element with a tablet or a call bell kill the warmth of the experience?
To a Japanese diner, it's the exact opposite.
Really?
Yeah. You have to realize that the Western model of service is highly transactional. It's performative, and it's entirely driven by the expectation of a tip.
That is very true.
Because of that, the constant check-ins from a waiter can actually be perceived as friction.
Friction, like an annoyance.
Think about it. Imagine you are deep in a meaningful conversation with a colleague, or you are hyper-focused on grilling an expensive piece of beef perfectly.
Right, I'm watching the grill.
A waiter popping up out of nowhere to ask, how is everything, forces you to break your concentration.
You have to abruptly stop talking, swallow your food quickly, and basically perform politeness.
Oh, it's great. Thanks so much.
Exactly. It places a social burden on the guest to manage the waiter's feelings.
But in the modern Japanese model of omotenashi, the ultimate goal is presence without pressure.
Presence without pressure. I love that phrasing.
The self-service water pitchers, the digital tablets, even the automated robot servers that bring the food trays to your table, They are all specifically deployed to give the diner total autonomy.
So you are in control.
You are empowered to summon service only when you genuinely desire it by pressing the physical bell or tapping the screen.
And when you don't press it.
When you don't need anything, the staff remains entirely invisible. They respect your physical space and your conversational flow.
It is essentially introverted hospitality.
That's exactly what it is.
It's there the exact second you need it, and it leaves you completely alone when you don't.
It's wonderful once you get used to it.
I can imagine. And I think that extreme respect for conversation and group dynamics is what makes these restaurants the perfect setting for social engineering.
Social engineering. Oh, you mean the drinking culture?
Yes. Because we cannot fully explain the all-you-can-eat culture without talking about its twin Tabehoudai.
Tabehoudai, the all-you-can-drink system.
You really can't ignore it. Tabehoudai is arguably an even more critical piece of Japanese social infrastructure than the food itself.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's set the scene for this. It's a Friday night in a business district like Shimbashi.
Lots of salarymen.
Everywhere. You see a massive group of corporate workers, still in their dark suits, loosening their ties, crowded around a long wooden table in an izakaya.
They're there for a nomikai, which is a company drinking party.
Right. But this isn't just a casual happy hour to blow off steam, is it?
No, it is a deeply institutionalized form of corporate bonding known as nominication.
Nominication.
Yeah.
Which is this great mashup of the Japanese word for drinking, nomu, and the English word communication.
Exactly. And the fixed price architecture of Tabehoudai is the economic engine that allows nominication to function.
How does a fixed price make a difference socially?
You have to keep in mind that Japan is a rigidly stratified society. In a corporate environment, hierarchy dictates absolutely everything.
Like who talks to who?
Right. The junior employee must speak formally to the senior employee. Rank dictates who speaks first, who pours the tea, even where you sit in a meeting room.
That sounds exhausting.
It is. But the nomikai provides a culturally designated sandbox for Boreko.
Boreko. What exactly is that?
Boreko is the sanctioned dropping of the rules.
Oh, wow. Like the purge, but for corporate manners.
Kind of. It is the temporary, socially permitted suspension of rank. For those 90 minutes, the junior employee is allowed to speak frankly, share controversial ideas, and even playfully argue with their department head.
And they could do that without fear of HR repercussions the next morning.
Exactly. What happens at the nomikai stays at the nomikai.
And the fixed price of the Tabehoudai is what creates the psychological safety for that to happen.
Think about the alternative. If they were ordering drinks a la carte, the power dynamics would ruin the night.
Oh, I see. The junior employee, who makes a fraction of the boss's salary, would be terrified to order a second or third beer.
They'd be agonizing over how the massive, complex bill is going to be split at the end of the night.
Right. Or, if the boss is paying, the junior employee feels a crushing sense of indebtedness.
Which maintains the hierarchy.
But with Tabehoudai, the financial cost is locked in before anyone takes a sip.
The junior employee can match their boss drink for drink without an ounce of financial anxiety.
It acts as the ultimate social equalizer.
It completely democratizes the table. But, true to form, this unlimited drinking is still bound by strict logistical rules to prevent total anarchy.
They always have rules.
Always. You cannot just tap the iPad and order 10 draft beers and leave them sweating on the table.
Right, they strictly enforce the glass exchange rule.
I love the glass exchange rule.
It's so smart. The iPad software physically locks you out. It will not allow you to input an order for a new drink until the server comes to your table and verifies that your previous glass is completely empty.
And they take the empty glass away before giving you the new one?
It forces that Mottainai anti-waste culture into the system even when people are heavily intoxicated.
You absolutely must finish what you start. No exceptions.
It's a brilliant control mechanism.
Yeah.
And when you combine that shared adherence to the rules with the interactive nature of the food, it fosters incredible social cohesion.
The interactive nature is really key to the bonding.
It is. There was this amazing story I was reading about a tourist visiting from Mexico who went to an all-you-can-eat okonomiyaki restaurant.
Oh, I know this story. It's fantastic.
For anyone who doesn't know, okonomiyaki is a savory Japanese cabbage pancake.
Very delicious, but messy to make.
Yeah, they bring you a bowl of raw batter, cabbage, and meat, and you are supposed to mix it and cook it yourself on a hot iron griddle built right into your table.
But this tourist had absolutely no idea what to do with it.
None. Instead of spreading the batter out flat like a normal pancake, he somehow managed to sculpt and grill it vertically.
He essentially baked it into the shape of a smoking cabbage car tire.
Exactly. A massive vertical tire. But the beauty of the story is that rather than being a stressful disaster, it became a source of immense joy for the whole table.
It became an event.
Yes, the interactive, cook-it-yourself nature of these meals, whether you are accidentally building a tire out of batter or carefully swishing thin slices of pork in a shabu-shabu hot pot, acts as an incredible icebreaker.
You aren't just sitting there passively staring at each other across the table.
Waiting for a waiter to bring you a finished product.
Exactly. You are actively participating in the creation of the meal.
It gives everyone a shared task, something to laugh at, and a focal point for the conversation.
It deliberately shifts the psychological focus from passive consumption to active participation.
Which changes the whole vibe of the dinner.
And when you step back and look at the whole picture, when you combine that active participation with the hyper-efficient kitchen logistics,
The aesthetic plating that tricks the brain,
the financial predictability that equalizes social rank,
and the deep cultural respect for preventing waste.
you end up with a dining framework that is fundamentally more satisfying on every level than simply gorging yourself at a chaotic buffet trough.
Which really brings us to the grand synthesis of what we've discovered today.
It's quite a journey.
Japanese all-you-can-eat is definitely not about gluttony.
Not at all.
It is not about eating until you are physically ill, just to prove you extracted maximum financial value from the restaurant.
It is an intensely curated, highly engineered experience.
It leverages digital automation and KDS routing to save labor and provide frictionless, invisible omotenashi service.
It relies on strict 90-minute time limits to mathematically survive in the most expensive real estate markets on Earth.
It enforces the ancient spiritual philosophy of Mottainai through leftover finds to completely eradicate food waste.
And it uses interactive cooking and locked-in pricing to dissolve rigid social hierarchies and actually bring people closer together.
It's a masterclass in behavioral economics.
It truly is. It proves that abundance does not inherently have to result in chaos or waste.
That's a great point.
You can offer people unlimited access to premium ingredients, but if you apply discipline, respect, and incredibly smart logistical engineering, you can elevate the entire concept into an art form.
Which leaves us with a critical, almost provocative question to consider regarding the broader culinary world.
What's the question?
Well, as the global restaurant industry continues to be battered by massive unsustainable food waste, skyrocketing labor shortages, and crippling inflation.
Things are getting tough out there for restaurants.
They really are. So, how long will it be until the Western world is forced to abandon the chaotic buffet trough entirely? Will the Japanese model of unlimited but intensely disciplined dining eventually become the inevitable, mandatory blueprint for the future of global gastronomy?
It is a genuinely fascinating thought to chew on.
It really is. The next time you sit down to eat, whether it's at your local neighborhood diner or a high-end weekend buffet, you might just view the food sitting on your plate and the massive amount of effort, invisible logistics, and deep philosophy it took to get it there a little differently.